This is my Samsung Z Flip 6, and I've had this for about 3.5 months now. I absolutely love it, but there are some cons that come with it, so stay tuned because in this video I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons and my personal experience when it comes to this phone, and if you should go ahead and get one. Let's get right into it. Alright, now before reviewing the Flip 6, I do want to let you know I am coming from the Flip 5, and before the Flip 5, I had the Flip 3, so I do have a lot of experience with these flip phones. I do want to say if you are coming from a traditional slab phone, like an iPhone, Pixel, or even a Samsung slab, this is a game changer. I absolutely love the size. I love that you can fit it in your pocket, take it pretty much anywhere. I love this phone. But if you're coming from the Flip 5, I was a little underwhelmed, so that's why I may seem a little nitpicky, but if you're coming from a slab phone, this is a game changer. Anyways, let's get right into it. I'm going to be splitting this into pros and cons, so let's talk about the cons of the Flip 6 first. First things first, and I don't know if this is just my personal unit, but this has been freezing and just like glitching like crazy recently. I've had a couple updates that I thought were gonna buff it out, but after 3.5 months, this thing still just freezes and I'm not able to use my phone. It just turns black for a while. The UI doesn't respond and I don't know why that is. And it's not like I have a bunch of apps open. I literally don't have anything open, and whenever I try and use this front screen, sometimes it just turns black. I open the phone, that turns black. I try and turn it off, I can't even turn it off because if I hold the button down, it doesn't pull up any menu for me to turn it off. So I don't know if that's something they can fix in an update, which I hope they do soon, or if it was just my personal unit that's doing that. Please let me know in the comments below if you have the Flip 6, if you have had any of these issues, because on my Flip 5, I never had any problems like that. But for some reason with the Flip 6, it's very frequent. Besides that, the next con I have is someone coming from the Flip 5. They took a note out of Apple's book and they ended up making the phone look exactly the same. That's not my problem. My problem is, if you're gonna make the phone look the same, can you at least make the Flip 5 phone cases fit the Flip 6? I mean, I know I may be sounding a little cheap, but this phone looks exactly the same, and ideally, I was hoping all the cases I got for my Flip 5 would fit this phone, and they don't. I mean, they do if you like make it fit, but realistically, they do not. So that is another con, and my last con in the con section is the fact that this phone still gets extremely hot. Now, I know Samsung did add like some cooling tech on the inside for it to be a little bit cooler, but this thing still gets really, really hot. Anyways, those are my cons. Let me know if you have any other cons down in the comment section below. It would help me, and it'll also help the people watching this video to see what other problems this phone has. But when it comes to the problems, they are nothing compared to what this phone actually does. But before we get into the pros, I do want to talk about one of my favorite wallets right now, and that is Extra. Now, if you're in the market for a new wallet or you know somebody who is, I definitely think you should go with this brand right here because they have changed the game when it comes to wallets. Not only does every wallet they have offer RFID protection, it's also very compact, looks super sleek, and it's extremely durable. Now, I've owned an Extra wallet for about 1.5 years now. I got another one just because I love my first one so much, and this is a brand that I absolutely love. If you want to go ahead and get one, I have a link in my description below, and on top of that, if you use my code RENDONE, you'll get an extra percentage off on top of whatever the discount is, and you'll be helping out the channel, so that would mean a lot. Also, if you do want to help out the channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Anyways, let's talk about the pros. Now, when it comes to the pros of this phone, the first thing I have to talk about is the camera. So the camera is right here. You have a 48 megapixel camera, which is 1,000 times better than last year's ugly little 12 megapixel camera, which was still okay, but that was my biggest con with the Flip 5, and they finally put a decent camera in here. If you're somebody who likes content creation, taking selfies, or just likes seeing a display whenever taking pictures with others, this phone is definitely for you. Look, if I'm taking a picture of you right now, you can get a preview and see kind of what everything looks like. Same thing if you're taking a selfie or if you're filming something, you can see your face right here on the front screen. And that is one of the biggest pros with this phone. This is why I don't think I could ever go back to a slab phone, because whenever taking pictures, not only selfies, but of other people, that preview helps drastically. And that is one of my favorite features and one of the main reasons why I absolutely love this phone. Now, I know with the Flip 6, they also did add a lot of AI features. To be honest, I used those for the first week and I really haven't used them too much, except for the magic eraser tool. Sometimes I go ahead and take people out in the background, but other than that, I don't really use any of the AI features. Sometimes I draw a hat on my dog and it looks kind of cool, but I don't use them too much. Now, another pro that I love about this phone is just everything that Samsung offers, but this phone like amps it up a little bit. And what I'm talking about is like the multitasking features. I had a Note before and then I could split up the screen where the top is one thing and the bottom is something else. I could do the same thing on this phone, but since it curves a little bit and creases, it feels just so much better. So if I want to have YouTube going at the top and something else going at the bottom, I can do that. If I want to check my fantasy football stats while still watching the game, I can have my fantasy football at the bottom, have the game at the top, and honestly, that is a great feature, especially when it folds. It just makes everything a little bit better. And honestly, the last thing I love about this phone is this front screen. So not only with the camera, but you can actually customize pretty much whatever you want to on this front screen. And if you do get this phone, I would download Good Lock, because then you could pretty much run any app you want to on this front screen. For example, this is Instagram, and as you can see, like it's a little small and wide. Like you don't get the full picture, but I mean, you still get to see the gist of it. And the last pro I love about this phone has to be the battery. Like, it's not a huge improvement compared to the Flip 5. Like, you get like an hour more, I would say. But it is bigger than some of the other phones out there. Now, the next thing I want to talk about when it comes to this phone has to be the durability. And personally, it's neither a pro or a con. It's all personal. And what I mean by that is if you're somebody who switches your phone every year or every 2 years, get this phone because it'll be fine. But if you're somebody who likes to hold on to a phone for 4 or 5 years, the outside's gonna hold up nice, but it's the inside that might be a problem. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I genuinely don't think this phone will be able to last like 4 or 5 years as far as the inside screen. I have seen cases where the inside, like where the crease is at, cracks and it just looks god awful. Granted, you can get it replaced for like $100, especially if you do have Samsung Care, but if you're somebody who switches your phone out every once in a while, I would get it. But if you're somebody who holds on to phones for quite a long time, I would still stick with a slab phone. Now, coming to the conclusion when it comes to the Z Flip 6, should you get it, should you not? If you're coming from a slab phone, I definitely think you should. I have actually met a lot of people who have came from iPhone to the Flip 6 and they are absolutely loving it. They love all the features you're able to get. They love the fact of how innovative and small and compact it is. They love this phone. But if you're somebody who's coming from the Flip 5, man, you know, that one's hard. If you want a better camera and a slightly better battery, go ahead and do it. But besides that, it feels like the exact same phone. And that's someone who pre-ordered this while having the Z Flip 5. Literally feels exactly the same, just with a better camera and an hour more of battery. That is pretty much it. So that's up to you. Me personally, I was a little underwhelmed, but hey, I can't complain. I still really, really like this phone. So if you're thinking about getting it for yourself, for Christmas, or just to get it, I definitely think you should. If you have any questions or comments about this phone, leave them down in the comment section below. And if you have this phone and you've had it for a while now, please let us know your experiences down in the comment section below as well. So everybody watching this, debating if they should get this phone, can read it and you can help them out. We're a community here. If you like the video, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. And that's it for today. Anyways, I'll catch you next time. Peace.